tick-tock, 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 tick. Go!
Steenburgen took time off in the 80s to raise family, but came back to co-star with Steve Martin in the bright comedy Parenthood.
I'll be there.
Okay.
What's the matter?
Nothing. I was a little tense before, but
No,
now...
I mean with Kevin. Why are we going to see his principal?
Oh, because his teacher said he's been making that face again.
Oh. What, this?
Yes, the tense face.
There is a purity to Mary Steenburgen on screen that is truly captivating. She seems so good, so wonderful, that her goodness is truly dramatic, and I mean it just that way. I mean, whenever I see her on the screen, I said, this is a fabulous person. And I don't know that she is. I've never really met her, I don't think, but she sure looks that way on the screen. She often comes across like a special creature who hasn't been tainted by the world's evils. At the same time, she's funny, she's offbeat, she's not the goody-goody two-shoes. I don't think I've seen another performer, at least one working right now, that I can compare her to. And maybe that's why, in addition to her odd name, that she's remained somewhat of a hidden star. She's not easily classifiable.
You know, the characteristic that she has that I like the best is playfulness.
Right.
She has, even in dramatic roles, she has a kind of a smile.
Right.
Maybe not on her face, but it's a smile in her voice, or it's a smile in her spirit. She seems like an essentially serene and happy person. And so she becomes the center of a scene because she seems so correctly placed there. She's a wonderful actress, and I'm glad that she is in a big box office hit with Back to the Future Part 3. I didn't like the movie that much, but I loved her relationship with Christopher Lloyd because it does have the innocence that you're talking about.
Can you think of anyone like her?
Not like her. No, there isn't anybody else like her.
That's a nice thing.
No, there isn't.
No.
Maybe Lillian Gish has something of the same quality.
Or, yeah, had, I guess. Maybe at one time. I don't know.
Okay. When we come back, a look at the career of Armand Assante, who has played everyone from Belisaire the Cajun to Mike Hammer, and is still one of Hollywood's hidden stars.
Mr. Hammer?
I suppose you're going to tell me you're the doctor.
On this special program, Gene and I have selected 4 of Hollywood's hidden stars, 4 movie actors we think deserve wider recognition than they've been getting so far. And one of my choices is Armand Assante, an actor who has made 10 theatrical films and no less than 13 made-for-TV movies, and a career reaching back to 1968 when he first appeared on the New York stage. And yet he plays so many different kinds of characters with so many different looks and accents that I'll bet a lot of people, even those who have seen him quite often, might not be able to match the name to the face. Here he is in 1978 in Sylvester Stallone's Paradise Alley.
Crew, we're holding our own. All the garbage. We'll talk for yourself. Yeah, you look rich. You gotta rob somebody.
I'm not robbing nobody.
We need money. We'll cut your hair. Somebody give you a job.
That was his first theatrical film performance. Assante got a lot of good reviews and wider notice for Goldie Hawn's Private Benjamin in 1980, playing a French gynecologist who Goldie falls in love with.
I want us to be together always.
We will, honey.
It's the reality of things sometimes. You know, they don't always work out exactly as their plans.
What are you saying?
I just want you to sign this.
What is it?
Contract de mariage. Letter of financial agreement. Well, God forbid something should ever happen between us. It just helps us remain friends.
A lot of actors have played Mickey Spillane's private eye Mike Hammer over the years, but I thought Assante did an especially good job in the 1981 movie version of I, the Jury.
You always transcribe your patient's comments?
Mr. Hammer, I have to keep a record of everything that is said in this office. My lawyers insist.
A smart guy. Ooh. What's the matter? Don't you like to be touched?
Assante used a convincing accent and a real flair for invention in the 1985 film Belisaire the Cajun, about a legendary rebel in Louisiana.
Hey, let us see your just man. Come on. Hey, your committee had no right to exile these people. I think the committee might have missed one. Come on. What gives you the right?
The best reviews in Armand Assandi's career so far come for his work in the Sidney Lumet film Q&A, where he played a seductively soft-spoken, sophisticated, and philosophical drug dealer named Bobby Texador.
You protect the fruit stand, man, a shoe shine parlor, you know? You run a few numbers for the coons and they need some extra people. But I mean, we like to rumble, you know? We got down, peleando, siempre, metiendo mano, no creamos metiendo mano.
The accent there is one of the clues to Assandi's talent and to the fact that he is still somewhat a hidden star. He's played a lot of international roles: pirates, Italian lovers, orchestra conductors, French lovers, drug dealers, Puerto Rican lovers, and he does things with his voice and appearance that make him into a character star rather than a leading man. For all of the movies I've seen him in, I have to admit that I didn't recognize him in Q&A. I knew it was a good performance. I found the character fascinating, so fascinating I wanted to see even more of him, and yet even after that film, he's still not a star. I guess the key to Armand Assandi's career is that casting directors do know who he is and what he can do and how good he is, and that's why he works so much.
Well, your analysis is quite right. What's interesting is if you were to look at him, and if you look at him in Private Benjamin a decade ago now, you would say this is a candidate to become a leading man because he is so good looking and he can be debonair. Now, I don't know whether the movies changed around him or what happened, but he's an interesting case study, and I don't know what the answer is. He has the skills to lead these parts. Maybe he needs to get the energy off the screen. Maybe he needs to get a character role that's a little tougher for him.
You know, a couple of weeks ago, I was talking to one of the top publicists in the movie business about Armand Assandi.
Right.
And she said, and this is a kind of a cynical statement, right at the beginning, she said, we should have renamed him Fred. Because his first big role was Private Benjamin, and everybody assumed he was French. He had a foreign-sounding name.
Right.
He was so convincing as a Frenchman. She said, over the years, people have never really realized this is a guy who was born on the Upper East Side of New York. He's Italian and Irish. He's American. He went to drama school in New York.
Right.
He can play all of these unique roles, and that's how he gets cast. And people don't realize that of course he could play My Camera. Why not?
He's an American.
Yeah.
Well, it is interesting because people have asked me over the years what his nationality is, and I've answered, I think he's Turkish or something. I don't know what. I never knew what he was.
Yeah.
I mean, but what we know is he's very good. Coming up next, a hidden star who typically plays gruff characters with a core of sweetness. Actor Fred Ward.
I was just lying there, flat on my back, and it just blew.
Continuing our special show on Hollywood's hidden stars, my next pick of a fine actor who deserves a more popular following is Fred Ward, a veteran supporting player, New York-trained actor who's done a lot of stage work in San Francisco prior to his film career. And one of his best recent roles in movies was as the funky but street-savvy police sergeant in Miami Blues. Ward is onto the fact that Alec Baldwin is a criminal, and he puts the pressure on him during dinner.
So, Armand, where'd you do your time?
Time? What do you mean?
Oh, the way you're guarding that food. Not like another con could take it away from you.
Fred Ward made his film debut in 1979 in Escape from Alcatraz, in which he was Clint Eastwood's jailbreak partner.
Warden said he knew just the place for us. Alcatraz.
Ward would seem to be destined to play only grunting action parts, but he excelled in 1983 Silkwood as one of Meryl Streep's co-workers, an American Indian Union activist in a life-threatening plutonium plant.
You scared me.
Meant to.
I'm doing something good.
I know what you're doing. And you're the wrong person to be doing it. And it's dangerous.
Fred Ward finally got his first starring role in 1985's Remo Williams. The Adventure Begins, playing a New York cop trained to be a secret avenging angel.
Hey, what are you guys, crazy? You got no right up here, mister. Authorized personnel only. That's to prevent accidents, suicide, that kind of thing.
Okay, look, I'm coming down, all right?
Yeah, you sure are. The short way.
Fred Ward's big break came in The Right Stuff, playing the ill-fated astronaut Gus Grissom, arguing with NASA scientists for safety procedures in the space capsule.
Window? There's no window. No window? What about the hatch?
The hatch.
Yeah, the hatch. We need a hatch with explosive bolts that we can open ourselves.
I think what distinguishes Fred Ward from being just another action player is his sense of humor. I think he can play comedy even better than action, and I hope that as his career progresses, he gets the chance. He's a whole lot more than just a grizzled hunk.
You're talking about his skill at humor. You've left out my favorite Fred Ward movie. Well, maybe not quite my favorite, because The Right Stuff, of course, is
a great
one of the all-time greats. You remember Euphoria?
Oh, yeah. UFO.
UFO RIA.
Right.
He was Harry Dean Stanton's partner in crime. Harry Dean was the traveling itinerant preacher, and Fred Ward was the guy that pretended to get his broken arm healed and so forth. And he is so funny in that movie, which is just about some goofball people down in the Southwest and their lifestyles, that you realize he can play comedy very, very well.
Yeah, I don't know what's keeping him from a really big, popular film. Maybe that isn't the way we should even judge these people. No. He's a superior actor. He can do comedy. Maybe that tough look limits him in some way. I don't think so, though. I mean, it shouldn't, I don't think.
Could be. When we come back, the fourth of our hidden Hollywood stars, Jennifer Jason Leigh. She likes to play bad women, and she's good at it.
So you buy me a drink?
Yeah.
Our next hidden star is a child of Hollywood. She's Jennifer Jason Leigh, daughter of an actor, the late Vic Morrow, and a screenwriter, Barbara Turner. A lot of people somehow have the idea that she's related to Janet Leigh, but she's not. All of our hidden stars, she's had a busy career. 1980, when she was 17, she's made 15 theatrical films and 8 made-for-TV and cable movies. And I still remember the first time that I noticed her on the screen. That was in the 1982 comedy, Fast Times at Ridgemont High. In my review of that movie, I wrote, how could they do this to Jennifer Jason Leigh? How could they put such a fresh and cheerful person in such a scuzz pit of a movie? Don't you know they have a star on their hands, unquote.
You're really a good kisser.
Yeah? So are you. You want to take off your clothes, Mom?
You first.
Both of us at the same time.
What I didn't realize was they didn't put Leigh in that movie. She put herself in it. Throughout her career, she's been attracted to sexy and risky roles. Here she is 4 years later in The Hitcher, another movie I didn't exactly approve of.
Drop your guns! Don't turn around! Just drop them.
I can't believe you were going to do what you were going to do.
Don't you know who he is?
You got the wrong man now.
And here's Jennifer Jason Leigh in 1988 in Heart of Midnight as a young woman who inherits a house of prostitution where bizarre events are still taking place in secret rooms.
I'm sorry.
Tell me you're Detective Sharp.
I'm Detective Sharp.
Did you just make yourself a cup of coffee?
No.
Well, how did you get in here? Did you turn the water off?
The front door was open, and I didn't.
In the controversial movie Last Exit to Brooklyn, she gave one of her strongest and most courageous performances as a hooker on the sleazy Brooklyn docks, a woman who goes looking for trouble.
You're pretty sharp there. You wax, huh?
Yeah, you bet your sweet ass I look sharp. I got me an officer in Manhattan. He's loaded. Takes me out places. He buys me things. When he ships out, he's gonna drop a bundle on me. Yeah, sure. Gabby horse like her can have the bums and the two-bit doggies. It's gonna be only officers for me.
And in another recent film, Miami Blue, she co-starred with our other hidden star, Fred Ward. And what does she play? Once again, a hooker.
You know, I gotta get that pork chop recipe first.
No, are you serious? It's so easy what I did. You are definitely not going to have to write this down.
Now, why does Jennifer Jason Leigh seem to have such a remarkable consistency in her roles? Why is she always the bad girl? Some of it may have to do with directors who see her in that kind of role and think she'd be great in another one, but I have a notion it may be a little more complicated than that. Jennifer Jason Leigh is not a major star, and yet she plays major roles for 2 reasons. The first may be because she'll tackle situations that other actresses are reluctant to deal with. And the second may be because she knows an age-old Hollywood rule. The good girl may get the happy ending, but the bad girl gets all of the best scenes.
And she's had a lot of good scenes. The sequence in Last Exit to Brooklyn is a very difficult one to watch, and it plays on, however, so long that it isn't sleazy. Where I thought, I had some of the same reactions to some of her earlier work that you're talking about. I thought she was being used. The camera was using her. And by the way, the camera can use her even if she is complicitous.
Yes, yes.
But there, in this Last Exit to Brooklyn, I saw a woman who, the scene went on so long as she's being raped that at first you think it's just abuse. Then you realize this woman is looking for something. She
hates herself. She's filled with, the character is filled with self-contempt, and this is her way of trying to exercise whatever demon she has.
It's a strong piece of work. The other one, House of Midnight, is another good, strong picture. Let me ask you to go through your two selections and pick, because all of these films are available on home. What films would you recommend that they
Heart of Midnight is that movie, by the way, and I guess I would pick it unless I would also pick Last Exit to Brooklyn. I would like to emphasize that you can hardly find a Jennifer Jason Leigh movie that isn't R-rated, and they're pretty hard R's, so that people should take that into account. And from Armand Assante, Belazar the Cajun is a very good movie. And when Q&A comes out on video, that, of course, is a great performance.
For my two people, Mary Steenburgen, I think Melvin Howard is probably, for this now generation in the 90s, I think a picture that they don't even know about and is highly recommended. It's a fabulous film. And for Fred Ward, I think that, well, Silkwood is a wonderful film. He's been in some spectacular films, and if people haven't seen The Right Stuff, that would be the picture.
I'll go back either on that sleeper, Euphoria, U-F-O-R-I-A, Euphoria for Fred Ward.
We have a lot of good films from these people. I mean, they really, in addition to being very talented, they also seem to pick good material.
They work a lot. Next week we'll be back with reviews of new movies, and until then, the balcony is closed.
Snowcaps, Raisinets, and Goobers. 3 big box office hits starring Nestle Milk Chocolate. Moviegoers give them a definite 2 thumbs up. Tough acrylic future. Nothing shines better. Nothing protects more beautifully. For long-lasting acrylic protection, nothing outshines future. Audition to be a contestant for the #1 game show aboard a 7-day Caribbean cruise December 15th on Norwegian Cruise Line's the SS Norway. There are a few cabins left for contestant auditions. Call Cruise Express for information and reservations at 1-800-735-SHIP.